Here's something nobody tells you about belly fat. It doesn't care how clean your diet is, it doesn't care how many calories you tracked, how many steps you logged, or how disciplined you were all day long. Because by the time midnight arrives, all of that effort gets quietly overruled by a single biological decision your body makes every night without your permission. And most people have no idea it's happening. What if the real reason you're still carrying fat around your midsection isn't about breakfast, lunch, or even dinner, but about when dinner ends? Today, we're going to break down exactly what happens inside your body when you stop eating at 6 p.m. Not the vague wellness version, the actual hormonal, cellular, metabolic version, the kind that makes you wonder why nobody explained this sooner. Stay until the end, because the final piece of this is the one that changes how your mornings feel. And once you feel it, you'll understand why everything else you've tried was only working half the time. The myth your body already disproved. We were all handed the same instruction manual for fat loss. Eat less, move more, create a deficit. Simple math, simple result. Except it hasn't been simple for most people, and that's not a personal failure, it's a flaw in the formula. Your body is not a calculator. It doesn't add up calories in a spreadsheet and neatly subtract fat. It's a biological system, and biological systems run on rhythm. They're governed by light and darkness, by hormonal cycles, by ancient timing cues that modern life has completely disrupted. Here's the thing about belly fat specifically, and not just any fat, but the deep visceral fat packed around your organs. That fat isn't sitting there because you overate at lunch. It's sitting there because your body decided repeatedly and very logically that it was safer to store energy than to release it. The reason it made that decision, you never gave it a long enough quiet window to do otherwise. Fat burning, real fat burning, doesn't happen between meals. It doesn't happen during your workout either, at least not where it matters most. It happens at night, in a specific hormonal window that only opens when certain conditions are met. And the most common thing that prevents those conditions, eating too late. The hormone that acts as a gatekeeper. To understand why timing matters so much, you need to understand insulin, not as a villain, but as a gatekeeper. Insulin's job is to handle incoming energy. Every time food arrives, insulin steps in, manages blood sugar, and directs fuel to where it's needed. It does this brilliantly. The problem isn't insulin itself. The problem is what insulin prevents while it's working. When insulin is active, fat burning is on hold. Full stop, not slowed down, paused. Your body won't pull from stored fat while it's still processing food you just ate. That's not dysfunction, that's biology being efficient. It doesn't multitask fuel sources. So here's what happens when dinner runs late. Maybe it's 9 p.m., maybe it's a light meal, yogurt, some fruit, a handful of almonds. Sounds harmless, but insulin doesn't evaluate your intentions. It responds to incoming energy, and now its work shift has been extended by 2 more hours. By the time you fall asleep, insulin is still elevated. The fat-burning window hasn't opened, and it won't, not until insulin finally winds down, which by that point might only leave your body a few short hours before morning. Night after night, the window either never opens or barely cracks. Belly fat stays locked. You wake up feeling like nothing changed, because biologically, nothing did. Now, here's where it gets genuinely interesting and a little unsettling. There's a second hormone collision happening at night that most people have never heard of. And it's the reason late-night eating doesn't just pause fat loss. It actively redirects where your body stores new energy, straight to your abdomen. When 2 hormones collide. As darkness settles, your brain begins releasing melatonin. You know it as the sleep hormone, but melatonin does something else entirely. It sends a body-wide signal that the day is biologically over. Digestive activity should slow, incoming fuel is no longer welcome, the body should begin shifting from intake mode to repair mode. Here's the conflict. When melatonin is rising and insulin is also still elevated from a late dinner, your body is receiving two opposing instructions at the same time. One system says process energy, the other says shut down intake. In that state, insulin sensitivity drops sharply. Glucose clears from the blood more slowly, it lingers, and your body, trying to resolve the conflict efficiently, does something very predictable. It routes the excess to the most readily available storage site, visceral fat, the deep belly fat surrounding your organs. This is why so many people notice that the same meal eaten at noon feels completely different from the same meal eaten at 9 p.m. It's not imagined. The hormonal environment is genuinely different. The outcome is genuinely different. When dinner ends earlier, before melatonin begins to peak, these two signals never collide. Insulin finishes its work while it's still biologically appropriate. By the time melatonin rises, the system is already quiet. And in that quiet, something remarkable becomes possible. The overnight furnace. Between roughly 2 a.m. and the hours just before sunrise, when insulin has stayed low long enough and melatonin has done its job undisturbed, the body enters a state that functions like an internal furnace. This is when the liver begins converting visceral fat into ketone bodies, a clean, stable fuel that the brain, heart, and muscles can run on while you sleep. You don't feel this happening. There's no heat, no hunger, no sensation, but your body is quietly drawing down on fat stores it may have been protecting for years. Alongside this process, human growth hormone rises sharply. HGH serves a very specific function in this window. It preserves lean tissue while directing fat toward fuel. This is the distinction most people miss when they think about overnight changes. The goal isn't to shrink muscle, it's to protect structure while spending what's excess. This is also why people who consistently eat earlier often notice something subtle but meaningful. Their clothes fit differently in the morning, not from water loss, which reverses quickly, from actual remodeling that happened silently while they slept. But this entire furnace depends on one thing: uninterrupted quiet. One late-night snack, even something small, even something technically healthy, sends an energy signal that shuts down ketone production and closes the eating window. Not immediately, not dramatically, but completely. The furnace goes cold, and it won't restart until the next night if conditions are right again. What changes in the morning? Here's the hook most people never expect. The real payoff of eating earlier isn't what happens at night, it's how you feel the next morning. When the overnight window runs its full course, you wake up with something that doesn't feel like the result of a diet. Hunger is calm, not urgent. There's no frantic edge, no need to eat within minutes of waking. That's not willpower, that's ghrelin, your hunger hormone, following a rhythm it's finally learned to trust. When the body knows fat has been fueling you all night, it doesn't trigger emergency hunger signals at dawn. Insulin sensitivity is also at its daily peak after a low insulin night. Breakfast, when it comes, is handled smoothly. Blood sugar rises gently and clears cleanly. Energy feels even rather than spiked. You don't need to chase it with caffeine. And this is the part that changes everything about sustainability. Food decisions feel quieter. Not because you've developed superhuman willpower, because your body spent the night completing its work, and now it's not pulling you in competing directions. Morning behavior, it turns out, is almost entirely a reflection of the night before. If the night was aligned, the morning runs itself. How to actually do this? The 6 p.m. rule is a reference point, not a law. Your biology doesn't set alarms. What matters is a consistent buffer between your last meal and sleep, typically 3 to 4 hours. That gap is what allows insulin to complete its work, melatonin to rise without interference, and the overnight window to open on schedule. If you're currently eating at 9 p.m., don't try to jump to 6. Shift by 30 minutes every few days. The body adapts far better to gradual rhythm changes than sudden restriction. And restriction isn't the goal anyway. Rhythm is. One underestimated lever, evening light.
Bright light, especially blue light from screens, tells the brain the day is no longer over and directly suppresses melatonin. It also quietly drives late-night appetite. Dimmer, warmer light after dinner supports your body's transition into night mode more than most people realize. If cravings appear, recognize them. Most late-night hunger isn't biological, it's habitual. A warm caffeine-free drink or simply brushing your teeth early can be enough to close the eating window psychologically without a fight. The principle underneath all of this is simple. Don't force fat loss. Force creates cortisol, and cortisol works directly against the hormonal conditions you're trying to create. Instead, remove what's blocking the process: late eating, competing light, constant stimulation. Once those obstacles are gone, biology doesn't need your help. It already knows what to do. Fat loss was never meant to be a war. Your body has been running this repair cycle